They may be Claw family, but nobody's managing to gag these two. What you're hearing is their opinion, unscripted and non-official policy of CLAW Corp, its board or its sponsors.
Off the record.
Hi, everybody. I'm Master Noel, and of course, there's Sir Roger with us, and this is episode 2 of
Off the Record with
Off the
Master Noel and
Record.
Sir Roger.
Only because I forgot
Master
what our
Noel.
name was. I had to get you to do it.
What's our topic today?
Our topic today is what makes CLAW different than, say, MAL, IML, Mr. International Rubber, all of those things. So, quick introduction again. Roger, how long have you been with CLAW? Just real fast to give people a little bit of info of who we are.
I've been with CLAW since CLAW 17 as a volunteer. I don't know if I told the story. I contacted the executive director back then via the website, and I said, please put me in a super volunteer role.
Okay.
Because my concern was going to a leather event for the first time by myself. I was just going to hang out in my room. So
Right.
I emailed the executive director and said, look, I got a lot of skills in hospitality and such, and I can help out with the vendor mart. And next thing I know, I'm working 12 hours a day and just loving it and just meeting amazing people.
Were you set up properly for the experience by the previous executive director, or was it just like a holy fuck, what did I get into?
It was a little bit of both. I
Yeah.
think there was good communication, but it's amazing to me how a lot of people who volunteer for CLAW do it for that reason, because they want to meet people, they want to make new friends, they want to make new connections, and they don't want to just linger around sort of bored and lonely. And volunteering is a way where you're sort of forced to be in a volunteer shift with other guys and other people at the event, and you get to make friends. I mean, some of the friends I've made and some of the connections I've made at CLAW are more valuable to me than any kind of work connection I've ever made in my career.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
But anyway, yeah, so that's me. I've been
that is a big part of what makes CLAW different, though. That's part of the community, building community.
Well, I
being
think
part of the community.
Yeah, let's start there, because other leather events do have a volunteering component to them. But I don't think that they have as many volunteers as we do that put on the event.
Right. So this is kind of bleeding over into another episode that we're going to be doing in regards to volunteers. But just as a matter of fact, to keep us on course here, 2/3 of the people that come to CLAW are volunteers. Only 1/3 of them actually pay. Yeah. So that's really huge. If you think about it, I'm going to give a run pass for you to work 3-4 hour shifts. We're realistically, if you broke that down to a dollar amount, it's like $22 an hour that really you're getting paid to stand around, check badges, do whatever, and be part of this community and work towards helping to get charity to money to charities, excuse me. So
yeah, so I think having volunteers is not a differentiator. It's the number of volunteers that we have that I think makes us
great. Agreed.
Yeah, and of course the big elephant in the room is CLAW is not a competition.
Yes, and I don't think that's an elephant so much as a shining star. I've been to MAL.
It's a shiny elephant.
Shiny elephant. I've been to a couple of the other events. They're awesome. I think they're great. But going back to when I researched CLAW, one of the big things was it's charitable. Big thing for me was charitable. Secondarily was the education aspect. And that's how we went the first time. I had half of our family volunteer. I think it was in the hospitality room and help run that. And then I did a bunch of classes, right? So there was a really big component for me as well. So much education. I mean, I know that you want like 7,000 classes this year, and I'm a little bit less than that, but we're going to have, I feel, a record number of classes this year in Columbus for 26.
Yeah, definitely. MIR, MAL, IML, CLAW, we're all the same family.
We are 100%.
It's all the same sponsors, all the same vendors in the vendor mart, all the same attendees that are going to each different event. We're all the same
Yep.
family. We all play along well in the sandbox. Um, but the other ones all have a competition component, and we
Yep.
don't have that competition component. And so we emphasize more, I think, the education, the volunteerism, the fundraising part of it, which we talked
Yep.
about in session one. And I think for me, the differentiator would have to be the education part, which is why I beat you up so much about wanting to have more classes
You,
because I
you
think,
kind of,
yeah,
Sir Roger, advocate of, again, like, what did you want? 200 classes for
but
real this
if
year?
you think well, when you look at, as an event planner, you
uh,
decide on the location of the event. And for Claw
yep.
26, we're in Columbus, Ohio at the Hyatt
Yep.
Regency. And the Hyatt Regency has the most um, conference rooms that we've
Hmm.
ever had. And so
Yep.
my thinking is let's use them all and let's put
And
classes.
my thinking is, no,
So
no.
I mean, for those of anyone who's interested, there's actually maybe 10. There's three junior ballrooms that could be split up into four. So 12 rooms. There's 12 rooms at this hotel that we're not using,
Correct.
that we could
This
be
year,
using, that
this year.
I'm advocating that we do use.
Yes.
But we're using the other 20 some. So
True.
this hotel just has so many rooms, more than we ever
Yeah.
could need, something we definitely could grow into. And I wanted to fill them all up with education, but Master Noel said no. And the reason I
National
wanted to do that is
No.
because I think there's, well, the other differentiator I think for us is just the diversity of the kinks and
Mhm.
fetishes that come to Claw.
And of the people that we're inviting, yes, we're labeled as a men's only event, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with having, men only spaces, and there's nothing wrong with having female open spaces, and there's nothing wrong with having, trans only spaces. That's all cool, but at the same time, we need to be inclusive for everybody,
Absolutely.
right?
And I thought,
Like,
and my thinking has always been that the education piece of CLAW helps with that diversity and inclusiveness,
true.
which is why I'm such an advocate for more classes. Because if you think about all of the different kinks and fetishes,
Hmm.
and you did 3 or 4 classes for each one of those, I mean, there's your 3,000 classes right there, right? So
Yes, yes. So do you feel like because of it's more educational and charity based, it's a different vibe than the different other events like the IML and such? Like, just how would you describe the difference in a vibe? Because people come and are like, yeah, I get we're doing all this, but like, I know I've gone to IML and it, like, and people have said, oh, IML is like the S&M stand-in model thing, right? Which I didn't particularly see when I was there, but it's not as evident at Club, people have said. Now, do you feel that there's that differentiation in a vibe, but people are just more comfortable being themselves or
I think it's definitely more, it's more social. We have a lot of
yeah.
socials, it's more educational. Um,
Shit, we have a
there's
lot of socials. We got what, 24 socials? Something like
24
that?
socials, yeah. Well, just
Yeah,
going
that's a
back
lot.
to the concept of wanting to be diverse and wanting to
Yeah,
be open-minded and welcoming of all people that want to come to CLAW. And then, you know, the CLAW does have a different vibe, but because it's the same clientele, I guess you'd say, that come to
mhm,
CLAW that go to the other ones.
yeah,
We've been told. I think we got a ticket in our help desk not too long ago that actually said something about that mentioned that I think in the ticket he said, I know that Claw is more of a social um, type of environment, but
right.
look, we have the play spaces, we have the dungeons, we have
Mhm.
whatever's going on in the 633 rooms at the host hotel. I mean, that's
Yes,
certainly a part of a leather event as well, and that's great. And I'm sure those happen at the other events too. But
right, right.
I think the meet and greets, the connections, the socials, the education part of it, I think
Yeah.
makes up for lack of a contest.
I agree, and I mean I don't necessarily look at the it being lack of a contest. It's just a different puzzle, I guess. I don't know how to quite describe it. Like it's all the
And
same
not
thing,
not
and
a, and I wouldn't and not a better puzzle.
yep,
not a better fit. It's just it's a unique event. We've always been a different kind of leather event from the very beginning, going all the way back to the first claw.
Off the record.